the principles and values of the 1992 Constitution. The framers of our Constitution endowed Ghana with separation of powers, the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, division of powers. It endowed us that Parliament shall be responsible for law making. President Nana Addo Dankwa, first of all, politically, what power does the President Secretary have writing to the Clerk of Parliament, and not the President himself writing directly to the Speaker of Parliament, as is required of our standing order, so that officially this can be read as communication from the President. So ideally, this paper means nothing and should be ignored by the clerk, because communication to Parliament must be communication signed by the President, addressed to the Speaker of Parliament, as is required of our standing orders, whether old or new.
Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker went beyond expressing this disagreement and rather pronounced judgment on what in his view was wrong. Mr. Speaker did not only stop there, he also used very unsavory words to describe Mr. President. We believe that in a democracy, we have a right to disagree on views expressed, but we do not have right to say things to denigrate another. This, we think, is very unacceptable. Now let me get into the main issue. Mr. Speaker said that Mr. President was undermining democracy and that he should have resorted to the Constitution in making certain communications to the House. We in the majority beg to disagree on the position taken by him. He said he was not going into the matter as that would undermine the outcome of same. But we all know that the very issue that was raised by Honorable Dafemepo had to do with the continuing ministers who had been reshuffled to other ministries. The issue of constitutionality of certain nominees had been determined by way of they going through the vetting process, a report coming before the House for debate and final decision. So for me, these are two unrelated issues.
Whether the bill meets the test of constitutionality is one that will be examined only within the four corners of the Constitution of Ghana, within the compass of the law, the Constitution of Ghana. It has nothing to do with my personal belief or my personal abhorrence of the practice of homosexuality, and of course my prayer that there will definitely not be recognition of gay marriages. And the President himself has stated clearly that it will definitely not be in his time that gay marriages will be criminalized, will be permitted in this country. It will continue to remain criminal. The laws of Ghana, as far as we are concerned, on marriage, recognize marriage as a union between a man and a woman, and so shall it be. But the question as to the other aspects of the bill, whether they meet a test of constitutionality, is a different issue. That is why I would respectfully pray the men of God and the religious groups who are throwing their weight behind the bill to distill clearly the lines, to be able to draw distinction between what the bill actually stands for and what the practice of homosexuality also is about and how they abhor it and all that. I think that they are being, with all respect, sometimes you can see clearly that they are being utilized by some politicians for their political ends.
Be that as it may, honorable members, I also bring to your attention the receipt of a process from the courts titled Robson Nelson Eche K. Dafiamapo versus the Speaker of Parliament and the Attorney General, suit number J1/12/2024, which process was served on the 19th that is yesterday, March 2024, and an injunction motion on notice seeking to restrain the Speaker from proceeding with the vetting and approval of the names of the persons submitted by His Excellency the President until the provisions of the Constitution are satisfied. In the light of this process, the House is unable to continue to consider the nominations of His Excellency the President, to use the language of the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, quote, in the spirit of upholding the rule of law, unquote, until after the determination of the application for interlocutory injunction by the Supreme Court. Honorable members, this is the precedent that is being set by His Excellency the President for all Ghanaians to follow.